Okay, hello everybody and welcome. We've got lots of people coming through our virtual doors. I think webinar etiquette dictates that we should probably wait a couple of minutes because we realise in this virtual world that we're all living in now, frequently meetings are pretty back to back now. So we'll wait a couple of minutes. If you're already here and you were thinking, oh, wouldn't a cup of tea or coffee be nice? You do have time to go and make that and just make yourself comfortable. We'll just wait. Before we kind of get going, we thought it would be quite interesting to take a stock check of where you guys are. So this webinar is about a guide to building a successful website, but we've composed a poll, which we'll share with you now, that while we're waiting to start, maybe if you guys can answer some of those questions. So we're coming to the end of 2020, thank the Lord, and we're aware that some of you might, have a web project in the offing in 2021. So it's really just to understand what stage you're at, what kind of level in either the planning or the actual implementation of your website. So we've got a few questions. Please select the one that kind of feels most right for you guys. So yes, I'm planning to start a new web project in 2021. Yes, I have my web project already planned out. Yes, my website will be ready to launch early in 2021, meaning you've done all the planning and you're actually kind of developing it in earnest at the moment, or you just recently went live with a new website, or no, you're not planning to start one anytime soon, but kind of here just to get a bit of best practice and an overview. So we'll come back to the poll at the end, but I believe that you can access it throughout. So please do just see where you fit. And I think we're probably ready to make a start. So hopefully you all have your tea, your coffee, and you're raring to hear about how to build a successful website. So hello, we hope everybody is well and very glad to see the back of 2020. We wanted to do this webinar because we're conscious that when planning a website build, it can be very daunting. You have a lot of questions, a lot of things that you think need to be decided straight away. And we're here really not to give you more to think about, but to allay your fears and say that this can be done simply and straightforwardly. You may have seen in the process of joining and signing up to this webinar that we have a website, Clarkswell. Our website was launched a couple of weeks ago, and the platform we chose, coupled with our proven process of designing and developing websites, really gave us the kernel for this idea for this webinar, because we thought it would be really useful to share how we successfully launched a website. So we've got a couple of the people here who helped us do that. So in this webinar, we will talk about and show you the editing experience of Umbraco Uno, which is Umbraco's accelerator product, which we use to build our website. We'll also go through the stages of a successful web build, the team that you need and the type of decisions you need to be kind of prepared to make. And we'll also rattle through some of the features and benefits of Umbraco. We are an Umbraco partner, but we've also used Umbraco Uno as our website because it's excellent. So we'll talk a bit about why Umbraco is so popular with our clients and with us. And we'll also go through some case studies of other people who have found success using Umbraco more widely, and also just some of the future things that are in the roadmap for Umbraco, so that you can really get a sense of what you need to be thinking about when you're embarking on a web build project. And then if you stick around at the end, we have some good freebies, which will hopefully help you keep momentum and also kickstart any project that you're working on. And without further ado, we should introduce ourselves so you know who you're talking to. So my name is Nina. I'm head of digital at Clarkswell, and I was really involved in this project because I was the one stamping their foot and being very moody that we didn't have a good website as an organisation. So I really wanted a new website. I wanted it to act as an extension of our sales and marketing team. And these are the guys that help me. So we have Yasmin.
Yeah, I'm Yasmin. I'm the marketing assistant, and I basically took on the client role in this project. So I developed the website on Uno and I created the content for it.
And we have Mike.
Hello, and thank you very much, Nina and Clarkswell, for inviting me to participate in this webinar. My name is Mike, and I am working for Umbraco HQ, which is the commercial company backing up the open source project called Umbraco. I'm a partner friend maker here in Umbraco, so my responsibility is to help all of our partner agencies in the UK and also Ireland.
Brilliant. So just a bit about Clarkswell before we get underway. Clarkswell are a digital agency. We're based in London, and we were born in 1996. We've been around a fair while. We've got kind of two main areas of our business. One is focusing on digital workplace, so using Microsoft technology to create business processes and communication and collaboration portals such as intranets. And the other side is the design and build of websites. And we are partnered with Umbraco and also Sitecore to do just this. And this is a photo of some of us and also some of our clients winning a lovely award for doing exactly that. Some of the brands that we are working with or have worked with in the past, you'll be able to tell that we work with all kinds of organisations: public sector, private sector, finance, travel. We've been around a fair few years, so in that time we've done a fair few projects. We've also worked with the pharmaceutical industry, with ABPI, which is the Association of British Pharmaceutical Industry, and we're actually embarking on a brand new Umbraco project with them. And so if we just move now to actually start to talk about Uno and a bit about the background of Uno and Umbraco, why you guys created it, Mike, and what it does and what it's for. That'd be really useful. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll be happy to tell you. So if you don't know Umbraco, just very briefly, Umbraco is a CMS system, and it's the biggest open source CMS built on Microsoft technology, meaning that it's secure and stable. It's a very popular CMS, especially in the UK, which is our biggest market, despite us being a Danish vendor. And it's mainly due to the intuitive editing experience that we've created. So we've always had the content editor in kind of the focus. But historically, Umbraco has been a bit of a technical developer focused CMS. So it has been mainly for developers. It's typically required a developer to create an Umbraco solution for anyone to even try it. And there was, really no easy way to explore Umbraco as an end user without having it set up by someone that has the technical experience. So the reason why we created Uno, which is essentially an accelerator built on top of Umbraco CMS, is because we wanted to give more people the opportunity to experience how easy Umbraco is to work with. Our biggest challenge for us to grow as a business and as a platform was that there was no easy way to get started out of the box. So earlier this year, in January, we launched Umbraco Uno, as this accelerator, which is built on top of the Umbraco CMS. It's our no-code, low-code solution, but you can extend it and customize it as much as you want. So it simply gets you a head start by, you can, as easy as click a button and you can get started to create a website. And that gives agencies especially a head start, and it lowers the development cost significantly, because you don't have to do the base and the foundation of creating a website. And with Uno, it's very easy to get started, because you get all this, the features you need for a website. You get it out of the box. You get SEO optimization, you get responsive design, and so on. And also for the editors, it comes with some very nice and powerful features, like what you see is what you get editing, which is made in small widgets. You can see exactly the changes you make in a live preview in the back office before you publish. You can preview it on all devices, so you can see how it looks on a mobile, in landscape, and horizontal, in a tablet, and so on. Anything before you publish it, so you can actually have a very nice experience as an editor. And then the last one I want to mention, there's a lot of features in here, is also if you ever had the experience of making something, a small mistake or something, and wished you could roll back to a previous version. That is a very nice feature I like in the back office, where you can just choose what version you want, and you can see all the amendments you've done, and then you can just roll it back to that one and start from there again. A last thing is that Umbraco Uno is a cloud-based solution, so you don't have to worry about staying up to date. Everything is automatic. So so all the updates, all the security patches, all the latest features will be automatically upgraded to your solution, so you don't have to worry. So in a nutshell, it was for us to make it easy to get started and explore. It was for us to make something that was easy to use, and also to take away the worries of maintenance and updates in general.
Yeah, exactly. And that is exactly why we chose it. We're a development agency. We are busy developing for our clients. So we just had to get something that would really accelerate the process and help us go live as soon as possible. So that's a bit about Uno. And we will show you kind of what it looks like under the hood, as it were, in a moment. We thought it would be useful at this stage just to run through the stages of a typical web project, so that you guys can get a sense of the timeline and what you need to be factoring in to each stage and some of the activity within them. So as I said, I wanted this website to be a member of our marketing team, and I wanted that team member to start ASAP. So we took the approach where we work towards what is known as an MVP. So an MVP is a really, really useful thing to agree upon within your organization. And an MVP is something that product development use, and it stands for minimum viable product. And what that is really spending time to decide what are the essential features which need to be there for go live. What is the minimum viable product that can then be launched, and then we can base on real world feedback how that product should evolve. I think there's very often a concern with organizations starting to think about a web project that they need everything from go live. They need everything there. They need it to be perfect. And the reality is that a website is a living, breathing member of your organization. It will change and grow organically alongside your organization. So it's really kind of understanding what has to be there. And an MVP is really, really useful, as it keeps the whole project focused and it ensures that it is delivered on time, which this is a webinar all about what makes a successful web project, and that is it. Things being delivered on time. But we're going to go through now what Yasmin's experience was like first time as a client, working through each of these phases and how she found it. So first of all, Yasmin, who was your team, and what did you all do?
Yeah, so as we've already mentioned, I took on the client role in this project. So I worked to build the website using Uno, and I created the content for it. And then we had Bratish, who project managed this project. He made sure it went live on time, and he organized the team. And then we had our sales and marketing team, who were all stakeholders in the project. So Nina, Kate, Seisha, and Danielle, who all, because as Nina's already mentioned, they wanted to be a working member of the sales and marketing team. We then had Alice, our designer, who we worked with throughout the create phase. We had Joe and Zeb, who did the custom work, anything that I couldn't do on Umbraco, which was very minimal. And then we had Deb, who was our support guy. So any issues I raised on Zendesk after it live, he would sort those out.
Excellent. So that's a flavour of the kind of team, kind of expertise that you need on one of these projects. So let's start with the discovery phase. What were some of the tasks that you did in that, and then you can kind of take us through the rest of it.
So yeah, we started by outlining the vision for our new website. So as we mentioned a few times, we wanted it to work with us as part of our team, and we wanted it to be the flagship projects where clients and prospective clients could come to look at our website and see sort of work that we do. I then started outlining the services that our website would include, which led to designing our IA. We tested this with a series of persona tests that we do on client projects as well. After this, I considered the target audience, who would be viewing our website, what they'd be looking for, and how they'd be using it as well. And I also thought about the key features that I wanted to include on this new website by looking at brands that we really liked, what they added on their websites, and we created some sort of like spreadsheet where all the ideas were stored. So after this build phase, we moved on to the create phase, where we had a series of meetings and daily catch-ups with our designer Alice, where we talk about feedback and any amendments we wanted to be made.
And were there any kind of tough decisions in that phase? That's the point where people are seeing the designs. I know typically that can be quite a difficult phase for people to kind of pick among lots of different pretty pictures.
Yeah, so in the create phase, we had to make a lot of tough decisions because Alice produced all these really beautiful designs. Many of them were too complicated to actually recreate on Uno, or they just couldn't be done in the time frame. As we said, we had a very tight time frame we were trying to stick to. So we create, like, for example, one of them, we wanted on our about page, we wanted this scrollable timeline where you could click on something and a bigger piece of information about it would come up. But I talked to Joe, one of our developers. He said it would take like almost 2 weeks to create. So obviously that wasn't going to happen. So we've created a sort of ideas log where we stored all these ideas that couldn't be done in the time frame, basically.
Okay, that's great. And then you would move on to the build phase, which using Uno, which is a low code, no code solution, it obviously cuts out a lot of the development time that would normally form the majority of a build phase. So what were some of the activities that you guys were still doing as a team in this phase?
Yeah, so when I basically started this build phase, I felt a bit out of my depth as I've never used Uno before, I never used Umbraco before, I never used any web design platform before at all. So I was a bit nervous about this, to say the least. But after like almost a few hours on Uno, I knew it would be fine. Uno's like, it's got very, very friendly editing experience, and the widget building blocks make it very, very straightforward to build your website. So I was able to complete this website with minimal assistance from our developers. And if I did have something that I really wanted done, I thought was necessary for the website, I'd just ask them to do a bespoke build. We also had to think about redirects from the old website to make sure traffic wasn't lost, and SEO to direct new traffic to the website. We also did a series of tests, so QA testing and accessibility testing. And Uno have made it really, really easy for you to change it to do the accessibility on the front and back end, so you can easily edit it in an editor mode instead of having to go back to your content editors and then to change the colors of stuff, the developer can easily just go in and change colors to make sellers to make it meet the guidelines, basically.
Yeah. And then it's really the final phase, well, a couple of phases, but they're generally very closely hand in hand. So UAT stands for user acceptance testing. So this, in a normal web project that we would do with clients as opposed to internal, this would be the point where the clients actually get their hands on what we've built and start to play about with it, start to get used to the editing experience. Sometimes this is a point where they're inputting their content, but really just making sure that everything from the kind of functional specification, from the user journeys and usability that we've said that we're wanting in the discovery and the create phase, that they are as we described, and it's really just the kind of point where our clients say, yep, that everything is here and in place, present and correct. And then we push live with various clickings of switches. And that's what we did for our own project. And in brief, that's kind of what we do for all of our clients. So we're now going to show you what that timeline resulted in by having a look at our website and the actual editing experience. So Yasmin, if you are able to share that screen. This is really, as Mike and Yasmin have said, this is where Uno comes into its own and Umbraco comes into its own. You'll see just how intuitive it is and how easy it is to use. So.
So I'm basically going to give you a demo of the back end and front end of our new Umbraco website, which we launched a couple of weeks ago. So this is the front end of our website. I'll take you through all the widgets. So the whole website is basically built with widgets, which are really easy to put together, move around, delete, change the order of. So this is the slider widget, this first one. And scroll down, we've got a grid widget, another grid widget, which involved some custom work for these slide up, hover over things. This is another slider widget here, a grid component with a quote, and then this is another piece of custom work. So now I'll take you to the back end of the website. So this is what it looks like as soon as you enter Uno. So you have your navigation bar here along the top. So you have your content is the first tab with a content tree down the side. You then have your media library, where you store all the images you upload to your website, and you can easily categorize them into folders, which I've got a bit more to do, as you can probably see. You can easily add users, so any developers or coders or whoever you want to add to your website can easily access it. You can create forms on Uno. So I created a quick contact form for our contact page, and then you can delete questions, add questions, choose what you want, and then you can store all the inquiries here. So I'll take you back to the content now, the content section. So this is our home page, which I showed you the front end of earlier. This is what it looks like at the back end. So this is our slider, all the features that I showed you. So you can add content here by clicking any of these. So I think grid's probably the most useful one, I would say, out of all of them. And then you can add forms, you can add Google Maps, and these are some custom pieces of work. One of the most useful things you can do is change the order of your content just by simply clicking it and dragging. You can also delete anything you want here and copy and paste widgets. So if I click here, you can copy it and you add content and you just click paste from the clipboard. On each page, you also have an SEO section. You write the SEO for that particular page. And you can change the header. So I would choose the transparent header, choose the color of it when you scroll down. You can do your navigation and also your footer on this page. One really useful thing which you can do is create new pages basically. So you can create a page template by copying the widgets off all the pages, which I'll show you how to do. So firstly, I'm just going to create a new page. I'm just clicking here, wait for this to save quickly. Click here and create a new page. I'll just name this new page, make it easy. I'll save and publish that. That's gone down here. Then if I wanted to copy all the widgets off the About page, I'll just go on here, click on these 3 ellipsis dots next to widgets and click copy widgets. So that's effectively copied all the widgets from the About page, which I can then copy and paste onto this new page. So widgets from About page, and that's created like a page template. So it speeds up time, saves you a lot of time in creating new pages. And then if I just go into settings, I'll show you what you can do here as well. Those are different features and settings which really help you build your website and customize it to how you want. If we go in general, we can do the SEO for the website. We can link it to a newsletter. You can link it to your Instagram page. Do the cookie content for your website. And then you can put it into Google Analytics or Google Maps and put tracking codes in and stuff. And theme is all about picking the colors and how your website looks. So you can choose your logo on a dark background, on a light background, a favicon icon, and choose your font types, the body font and the heading font. And then you can also choose a theme of your website, so all the colors that you're going to include. It's quite limited, but it's enough to not let people mess your website up, basically. And you can also choose this, change all these in the preview mode, so you can see how you're doing it, like it's going to look. So you go on preview mode, you can click this little toggle theme explorer on the side, and it brings up all the colors that you've chosen for your website. So you can easily edit this just by clicking one of these and then changing it, see how it's going to look on the website. Okay, so that's basically what Uno looks like on the back end and front end. And as you can see, it's very flexible to fit all your needs, and it gives you the power to do exactly what you want with your website.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we've shown a number of people our website as a case in point, and the reaction has generally been, oh my God, we normally have to, you know, pay a developer to make those kind of changes, or oh my God, are we actually going to let content editors change our whole branding really easily? And the answer really is that we work with our clients to find that balance. So yes, you might not want everybody to be able to suddenly change the branding, but you can lock it down so certain people can have that power to really do whatever is needed without relying on a developer resource to do that. So thank you, Yasmin. That was really good, and we hope we've proven the case for the content editing experience for Umbraco. I'm just going to quickly rattle through some of the features and benefits of Umbraco and why we chose it as a CMS to partner with, and also why our current clients love it. So this is all very high level, but these are definitely the things that in talking to people internally and externally have kind of bubbled up to the fore. So first one being multilingual. This is really, really important to a lot of people. I know Mike is going to talk in a bit about some case studies, and I know multilingual has been used very impressively by one or two of them. The other thing which is important to note is that Umbraco is infinitely scalable, so it can grow with your business and alongside it, and indeed help it to grow. And it also stays aligned with technology. So this is really going back to what I was saying earlier about that minimum viable product. You don't need to worry that everything needs to be there for go live, because you can proceed safe in the knowledge that if a requirement comes up years from now, which you couldn't hope to know at this stage of your web project, Umbraco will be able to deliver. There's really nothing that it can't do. The content management experience, this has been a very vocal area for our clients. You know, we've worked for many years with many different CMSs. Umbraco is far and away the nicest and most intuitive content editing experience. It works, as Yasmin showed, on a kind of tagging base. You tag interrelated content. This means it's really good, solid foundation for SEO, and it also makes the speed of content editing very, very fast. You saw there that Yasmin created a whole new page in minutes rather than half an hour or something like that, which is sometimes the case. So that's very, very powerful. Yasmin also showed a bit about how forms work and how you set them up. Forms, we know a lot of people want them integrated into other third parties. One of the really common integrations we do is into people's CRMs, so that you have that more 360 view of your customer and also their engagement with you and your brand. The other thing that is very important to note is that Umbraco is a developer-led CMS, meaning that every template, every feature is tailored to you. It is just so, it is just how you want it. We spoke about, you know, looking at various beautiful designs and having to make sacrifices because the timeline didn't allow it. But if we had infinite time, we could have made any of those designs and brought them into Umbraco. We just kind of chose not to. So it is you can have a lot of bespoke features and functionalities contained within Umbraco. Some more reasons why we love Umbraco. As Mike said, it is cloud first. So a lot of content management systems and vendors are getting into this area now, or in the past year. Umbraco has always been on the front foot in this area, and it's one of the reasons that we chose them as a technology partner, because it offers our clients very flexible and economical hosting options, and there is also an automated upgrade path. So if you pick Umbraco, you have peace of mind that it's going to keep being upgraded and keep being supported while you're using it. Kind of touched upon earlier with forms, but we appreciate that for a lot of our clients, the website is only one part of your digital estate, and it's very, very important that as much as possible that is automated, that is integrated with other business platforms, business applications, and Umbraco is very, very strong in that area too. There's lots of APIs, and it plugs in very well with other features and platforms. As Yasmin said, AA compliance, very, very important to us and a lot of our clients. Umbraco doesn't get in the way of any accessibility, and it's actually a really, really nice tool to use when testing at the different stages of any project, making sure that it is going to be compliant. It is secure. There is absolutely no compromise on security or GDPR. There's a lot of neat functionality that makes GDPR compliance very straightforward and very easy to do in Umbraco, which we know particularly for public sector is very, very important, this compliance and strong integration and security. And another reason why people love Umbraco is that it is open source. So not only does that mean that there is no license fee attached to it and it is free, it also means that there is a very mature roadmap behind the product, and also that you are part of a very democratic process, which Mike will go into in a bit, about how features arrive into the product. So if a lot of people want a feature, need a feature, it will eventually appear, which is a really, really nice thing to partner with. So we've spoken a bit about who we are, why we chose Umbraco, and the process of doing that. But we're going to talk now not about our clients specifically, but some from Umbraco's point of view and Mike's point of view, clients that you've been particularly impressed with their way of using Umbraco and why they're using Umbraco. It's very, very popular in the public sector. I think at least 50 councils or thereabouts in the UK are using Umbraco. But Mike, can you tell us a bit more about some others and how they're finding it?
Yes, and I love this slide deck. It's as a salesman, this is one of my main things in the toolbox is to show the diverse set of customers. But this is obviously also just a bit of brag for some of the bigger ones. Umbraco as a solution can be used in from the small company, one person, to a multi-million company. So it's a wide range of different sectors and use cases it's used for, and it's a popular choice in many sectors. But some of the primary ones have been the healthcare sector, for example, where we have customers like NHS Inform in Scotland. We've got many pharmaceutical companies like Sinclair Pharma and others. In the professional services, it's big. We've got quite a few banks and law firms using it. We've got a big one up in Scotland. I can't remember what it's called. It's a massive one in Edinburgh. And also the public sector, as you mentioned, that's probably our main sector if we should look at a specific sector. We have many UK councils. We've got big organizations like National Grid, the British Army. And as we've mentioned quite a few times now, it's mainly because of the editing experience that it's chosen, but specifically for the public sector, it's also because it's open source. It's on Microsoft technology. It's GDPR compliant, and also there's built-in accessibility features. It makes it very easy to live up to the web standards and the new regulations that are in place. And when we speak about accessibility, we and open source, we have a big community, and we actually got our own community team, accessibility team it's called, and their main purpose is driving further accessibility improvements. But in general, our big community is also one of the main factors for the popularity of the CMS. It's, as you say, it's a democratic way of driving forward our roadmap and improvements. And I think most importantly, the improvements that we make, because it's open source, is based on real life usage. So it's people using the system and feeding back. We've got hundreds of thousands of community members that actively contribute to making Umbraco CMS better based on their experience and their customers' experience. The last reason I want to mention is the overall flexibility of the system. So a lot of customers, especially public customers, they have the need to extend or customize and integrate with various third parties. And Umbraco is, fundamentally designed to allow for these extension and customizations with all the open APIs that's built into it. And it's the essence of our strategy. Our strategy is what we call best of breed, which means that we know what we're good at. We let people in their areas be experts in what they do. So things like personalization, CRM, e-commerce and other areas, we'll let them be their experts, but we will create Umbraco and maintain Umbraco as a very flexible digital hub that is very easy to connect third parties into. This also means that you can extend it to the full suite, or you can keep it simple. And this is also seen in the variety of different sectors that it's used for. Nina asked me what my favorite was. And I think, if you go on the website, it's also available there. But one of the main public cases that I'm most proud of is probably the Council of the European Union. And it's because it shows all these things in one. So the goal for them was to change the old CMS platform to allow a lot of editors to easily publish content from more than 800 different translators. So you've got a lot of users. Then it also needed to be translated into 24 different languages. And after that, it needed to be easy to manage for the content editors. So Umbraco, in general, made it easy for them to integrate their solution with their own translation engine, so they could automatically translate all these. So every time there's a content editor making some content, it's automatically translated into 23 different languages automatically. Then, because Umbraco also now has built-in multilingual functionality, it's easy for the content editors to manage it afterwards. And the infinite editing feature, which is a little feature that allows editors to actually stay on the same page without having to jump back and forth between pages, also makes it easy to manage that many content nodes in the tree. So essentially, the whole user experience from the content editors is a main thing here, and the fact that you use Umbraco as a hub where you can connect and integrate easily with. I think the easiest way is to ask Clarkswell, can I experience this myself? Because it wouldn't do any justice. I mean, we've shown it, we've talked a lot about it, but because it's now very easy to get started, I would strongly suggest that you contact Clarkswell and ask to get that experience yourself. So that's mainly it.
Yeah. And what, obviously it's a constantly evolving platform, as we've spoken about. What are some of the principles around Umbraco and Uno coexisting, and what is now next and later?
Yeah, so we have, because it's an open source CMS, we constantly evolve our roadmap. We have a publicly available roadmap, which is broken up into various pieces. So what we work on now, what we'll work on next, and what we'll work on later, which is more long term. Our overall mission is to help you create delightful digital experiences. And the purpose of Umbraco Uno as an accelerator is to make that easier and quicker to get started for you. So because it's been a developer-friendly CMS, a lot of the features and things you see in the roadmap is very techy, but it's all about making it faster, make the performance go up, improve stability, reliability, and so on. But there's also some very tangible examples, like in improving the rich text editor, or adding new themes to Uno, creating new widgets. And again, I just have to highlight that all these things is based on real life usage from our users, and it's feeded into a system where we will evaluate. We are a commercial company, so in order to have an open source project be sustainable and be evolving, we have hundreds of thousands of people contributing to making it better. And we, as commercial people here sitting at Umbraco HQ, we kind of manage that and make sure that things that doesn't fit into the roadmap doesn't get merged and so on. So it's as you say, a democratic a process, but it's all in collaboration between a commercial entity behind an open source project with the big community that it's got. So that's the future is very difficult to predict, but one thing that I will say is that it's the user experience that is in the focus of the future.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, just speaking about some of the discussions we're having constantly with clients, there's a thing where Umbraco will get them so far, like with us, with Uno, and then it's making that choice and looking at the roadmap and talking to Umbraco, who are always very, very, very helpful, and saying, there's this feature, there's this requirement, are there plans that's going to be brought into the product, or should we look at kind of building it in such a way that it will coexist with later versions of the product. So I think for those of you who are maybe at the point of working out your features and what you're wanting, it's finding either kind of trusted people within your organization with that technical knowledge, or an external agency or partner that you can work with to kind of bridge that gap and work out the roadmap of your website, but also the backdrop of that more kind of technical, feature-rich roadmap coming from whatever CMS platform you choose. Thank you very much, Mike and Yasmin. That's been really, really useful, we hope. We wanted just to leave you guys with some freebies, because everyone likes freebies and we're nearly at Christmas. And we were thinking collectively, you know, what would really help you either kickstart a project or help you keep momentum and just give you a bit of peace of mind and assurance that actually you are kind of going on the right track. So we've kind of packaged this up into 3 different offerings. So as Mike said, and as we completely agree, it is really, really useful at any stage to just mock up a quick prototype of what your actual website would look like, how the design would be. And so we can help you do that. We can also offer an hour-long virtual workshop with one of our web experts. And of course, we're always here if you have any ad hoc questions or advice that you need. Please do email me at n.anderson@clarkswell.com. Okay, have a lovely rest of your day, everyone, and take care. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.